Oh, I'm into my charger.
All right, shalom, shalom, Mr. Brother Kazawan.
Wiz.
And then,
Salaki Shema all.
right, and we'll get straight to it. We're gonna give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Right, and this video is going into what is your foundation built upon? Right, because you got a lot of men out here, they and women, right? They foundation is built upon sand, right? They foundation is built upon nothing, right? And it's slowly falling, right? The house is slowly falling through because the foundation isn't strong. So as men and women in this truth, you want to make sure that your foundation is built upon a rock, which is Yahweh Shai, right? But I'm gonna let you kick it off, Wiz. I got to do something.
All right, started off with Ecclesiastes chapter 10 and verse 18. It says, by much slothfulness the building decayeth, and through idleness of the hands the house droppeth through. All right, so when you building, I mean, even if you got the right material, you know what I'm saying, you might be building on a rock instead of building on sand. And I'm speaking literally, but if you don't got the drive or the desire to or the work ethic to bring it forth, it don't mean a thing. I mean, you can have all the resources in the world, you can have all the videos, you can have all the breakdowns in your phone, you can have all of that, but at the end of the day, if you slothful, I mean, what's the use for it? But I yield with that.
That's right. If you slothful, I mean, what's the point? I got a precept on that too. Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 28. It reads, he that have no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. So you ain't got no foundation to build upon, right? And you ain't got no rule over your own spirit to the point where you're slothful and you need to get things done. It's going to be a city that's broken down, right? A city that's broken down with no walls. All right, I got another precept as well too. Be Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12, verse 11. It says, not slothful in business. So you can't be slothful in business, man. You need to, go over things that you need to go on if you want to be a better man. If you've been on the foundation to be a better man, I mean, the number one thing is not slothful in business. You need to get things done. On the carnal aspect, you need to pay a bill. You procrastinate on paying that bill. Whatever it is, don't be slothful in business. You need to read, right? Fervent in spirit, serving the Lord. So you need to be fervent in all things you do. All right, and I yield with that.
I got a precept if y'all don't got
one. Go ahead. I got one after you.
All right, go on. All right, this is the book of Luke, chapter 6. We're going to start at verse number 46. All right, it says, and why call ye me, why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things which I say? Whosoever cometh to me and heareth my sayings and doeth them, I will show you to whom he is like. Right, so you got men that do things that the Lord said. You got men that don't do the things that the Lord said. All right, let's keep going. All right, he is like a man which built an house and dig deep and laid the foundation on a rock. And when the flood arose, the stream beat vehemently upon that house and could not shake it, for it was founded upon a rock. Right, so the man that's doing what the Lord commanded him to do, right? He going out there, he laboring, right? He keeping the commandments, right? He moving with wisdom, praying, fasting, right? Leading his house in righteousness. Hey, that man, he built his house upon a rock because he's doing everything that the Lord told him. The rock is Yahweh Shai, right? If you didn't know, Yahweh Shai is that rock. So you got to build upon Yahweh Shai, right? If you don't build upon him and you build upon your own thing, right? And build upon TD Jakes and other men, hey, your house ain't going, when all hell breaking loose, your house not going to stand, right? Because when you got spirits attacking you on a day-to-day basis, when you might lose your job, right? Hey, these things, hey, they won't be able to knock the house over, right? Because it was your foundation was built upon a rock. So you got morals, right? You got faith, right? And you're gonna be able to endure because of that foundation so strong. Right? It says, but he that heareth and doeth not is like a man that without a foundation built an house upon the earth, against which the stream did vehemently, and immediately it fell, and the ruin of that house was great. Right? One more precept. It's a quick one. All right, Psalms 18. Right? And I just spelled that wrong. Right? Right? Because hey, if you're not building upon the right foundation, you could really destroy yourself in this thing, man. You could be a bug out, right? All kinds of madness will happen, right? This is Psalms 18:1. It says, I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer. My God, my strength, in whom will I trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation and my high tower. Right? So, hey, the Lord is supposed to be your rock, right? Your fortress, your deliverer, right? He's supposed to be your strength, supposed to trust in him, right? Hey, that's where your salvation comes from. So if your foundation isn't built upon Yahweh Shai, right? Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, you will not last, right? But you got it up.
All right, Con, that was I was gonna bring that out in Matthew, right? And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna still bring it up. So like the book of Matthew, chapter 7, right? And I'm gonna start from verse 25. This is after he was saying, this after Yahushua was saying, I will liken him unto a wise man which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended and the floods came and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. Right. So if for the people who never read Matthew or never read about Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus, hey, he was never in one spot. It was never a time where he decided, no, I'm gonna take the week off. He was on the move. That's as a matter of fact, it's another precept that I want to get. Right. It was a brother who wanted to follow after him. Right. But he was kind of telling them, like letting them know, hey, this work don't stop if you're gonna follow after me. Brother know what precept I'm looking for. Foxes have holes. You bring that out for me. If y'all get it before I get it.
Out last week too.
So like I was holding it before you went into your precept and then I lost it.
Right here, Matthew 8:20.
Matthew 8. Bring that out for me.
Right, it says, and Yahushua saith unto him, the foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man have not where to lay his head.
And as a matter of fact, can you read the next verse?
It says, and another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father.
Right. And then right, but Yahushua said unto him, follow me and let the dead bury their dead. Right. So a lot of the times we forget. We don't have time to try to make amends with the people who not trying to do the same work as you. It's gonna be times where, hey, while you building up your foundation, your family gonna talk down on you. There's gonna be times where it's gonna be all types of things going on, right? But you gotta understand that when you came to do this work, the work gotta be done regardless. You know what I'm saying? The Lord didn't care about one of the disciples had a wife. Hey, that don't stop you from having to do the work. The work comes first at all times, right? It was business before pleasure every time with Yahushua. That's why we got to build our rock on him. But I yield with that.
No, you got it, Sam.
Yeah, Con. So like that. Yeah, Con, that's right though. We also need to build upon Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know, that's one of the solid foundation. And after that, what we do after that, right? What we do, what we need to get into, what we do, what we need to do to look into ourselves so be able to build. What materials, right? What materials? I got bring out Exodus. Matter of fact, I'm bring out Maccabees, first Maccabees. Because this is spirit, you know, feast of not fe- feast of dedication, right? Feast of dedication. It's first Maccabees chapter 1 and verse first Maccabees chapter 4, Salaki, and verse 44. And when as they consulted with what to do with the altar of burnt offering, which was profane, they thought it best to pull it down, lest it be less Salaki, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it. Wherefore they pulled it down. So as you know, that foundation is to build upon, you know, that rock, Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. So once you get to know that, okay, what materials that you need to bring. But first you need to pull down what's defiled in you. Right? You can't just, yeah, you've been on a Yahweh Shai, but as you building you know, seeking for vain glory, and you know, you trying to be the best Israelite, you know, it's just you just deceiving yourself, right? You just wait. I don't know what other ways, that any brothers got any other vocabs for me to bring it out, but you just going off, man. Right? You're not really sincere in this thing. You're not really using the right materials, right? You need to pull down on what's defiled in you. What can be defiled in you, right? Let's go to Matthew chapter, I believe that's Matthew chapter 15. Matthew chapter 15. Yeah, Matthew chapter 15 and verse 18, right? But those things which proceed out of the mouth coming forth from the heart, and they defile the man. For out of the heart proceed evil thoughts, murderers, adulterers, fornications, thefts, false witnesses, and blasphemies. Right? These are the things which defile a man, but eat with washing hands defile not a man. So the things that you need to that's defiled in you, evil thoughts, murderers, so you can actually use the right materials that need to build on the rock of, you know, Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. You got here. Because you don't want to build, and you know, you're very cunning with the scriptures. You seducing people, right? Just to get your way, you know, just going off, man. Right? I get with that.
I appreciate it. Right. I'm gonna start at verse number 11. I'm gonna start at verse number 10. It says, this 1 Corinthians 3 and 10 says, according to the grace of God, which is given unto me as a wise master builder, I have laid the foundation, and another builded thereon. But let every man take heed how he buildeth thereupon. Right. So you know you gotta watch how you building your foundation, like the brothers was talking about. Right. You can't just, you know, think you know that you're building and you're not building the right way. Right. You could be building a wicked foundation. Or you could be building a whole pointless foundation, and it's all vanity, and it's all going to fall in the day of the Lord. Right? It could fall any day. Right? It says, for other foundation can no man lay that is laid, which is Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Now, if any man build upon this foundation gold, silver, precious stones, wood, hay, stubble, every man's work shall be made manifest. For the day shall declare it, because it shall be revealed by fire, and the fire shall try every man's work of what sort it is. Right. So, in the last days, right? And the fire is gonna test every man's foundation to see if it was built with precious stones, gold, or silver, right? Or if it was built with wood, hay, stubble, right? It's gonna get tried, right? It says, if any man's work abide which he hath built thereupon, he shall receive a reward. Right? If any man's work shall be burned, he shall suffer loss, but he himself shall be saved, yet so as by fire. Right? Brothers got it.
I got a precept in Sirach chapter 2. It's a classic precept, right? But it's very important. And a lot of times, you know what I'm saying, we overlook this. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. Right? So doing the work of the Lord, this ain't church. You know, this ain't praise and worship, passing the basket around. I mean, it's you're gonna be hated of all men when you come to do the work. People gonna call you all types of names. I can't count how many times we've been called the Pharisees. All types of things is gonna happen. You know, people believe that when they come to do the work, when they come to build, that you know, the bad weather ain't gonna come and you ain't gonna be able to build today. Or hey, your body might have ailments, you ain't gonna be build today. Your family, you know, they got other ideas to do on the Sabbath or something like that. But hey, you gotta go to camp, you gotta do the work, right? And I'm continue on. Set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Right. So when these temptations come, you can't be quick to try to find a quick fix. You can't be frantic. You can't be anxious. You got to sit back like a mighty man or a mighty woman of the Lord and think, what am I supposed to do in this situation? How do I get myself through it? All right. So when you building a foundation, I mean, me personally, I don't want to live in a house that they built in a day and a half. I just don't trust it. You know, good things take time. You know, when children take 9-10 months to form in a womb before they can be pushed out. So how much more time would it take for you to build a solid foundation, to build a solid house on top of that, right? But that's it though. I yield.
I got one more precept because just as you just said that, right? It's Nehemiah chapter 4. Right, it's Nehemiah chapter 4. I'm gonna start at verse number 5. I'm gonna start at verse 4. Right, it says, hear, O our God, for we are despised and turn their reproach upon their own head, for a prey in the land of their captivity, and cover not their iniquity, and let not their sin be blotted out from before thee, for they have provoked thee to anger before the builders. So built we that wall, and all the wall was joined together unto the half thereof, for the people had a mind to work. Right, so you know during this time, right, the men that was building up the temple again, right, during the Babylonian captivity, and they had you had certain men that had a mind to work. Right, they was willing to put in that work for the Lord. Right, they didn't care how long it took. They didn't care who came up against them. And they was going to get the job done. Right? You don't want to be like the men that was trying to stop them, or the men that was trying to say, you know, it's not time to build. Right now, it's the time to be building. Right? If you're not building on a day-to-day basis, you're not even in the truth then. Right? It says, but it came to pass that when Sanballat and Tobiah and the Arabians and the Ammonites and the Ashdodites heard that the walls of Jerusalem were made up, and that the breaches began to be stopped, when they were wroth and conspired all of them together to come and fight against Jerusalem and to hinder it. Right? Because Esau, right, the other nations, Satan, right, you're gonna have men out here they're conspiring, right, to come against the nation of Israel to hinder the building. Right? They trying to get you to fall out the truth. They putting demons and all kinds of stuff in your way, obstacles, trying to make you fall. Right? But you got to be able to have that mind to work that you're going to endure. Right? It says, nevertheless, we made our prayer unto our God and set a watch against them day and night because of them. Right? So they was watching day and night while they was building. Right? So that these heathens, right, when they come against them to destroy them, right, to stop the building. Right? It says, and Judah said, the strength of the bearers of burdens is decayed, and there is much rubbish, so that we are not able to build the wall. Right? So you had all that stuff going on. Right? It says, and our adversary said, they shall not know, neither till we come in the midst among them and slay them and cause the work to cease. Right? So that's what the heathen mind is fixated on, to stop, to get the work to cease, to stop you from building the foundation for the Lord, right? To make your family be up in sin, make you be into Christianity, be a Muslim, all kinds of wickedness. Right? They don't like to see what you're doing right now. right? It's too mighty for them to sit there and watch. So they gotta stop it, right? But you got it. Whoever got a precept.
Con, I got a precept. I would like to touch on that too. You know, it's gonna be it's gonna be definitely people that's gonna try to weaken your hand to build. Right? It ain't gonna. You come in this truth. You know, obviously, don't expect to be liked. You know, even if you can, you could be the nicest person. Who cares? You was nice in the world, and yeah, I'm still the same. Even when I come in this thing, and then you get a wake up call. But I'm just keeping the commandments, and so what? Right? Just how they didn't like Hamashiach, Yahushua, they're not gonna like you either, man. Right? So I'm gonna bring out Ezra chapter 4 and verse 4. I'm gonna go to verse 3. For Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel, right? This Ezra chapter 4, verse 3. Said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God. Because the heathen said, yo, I'm gonna start at verse 2. I'm gonna start at verse 2, right? Ezra chapter 4, verse 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers and said unto them, let us build with you, for we seek your God as ye do, and we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esarhaddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. And the heathen talking about we seek as your God as you do. And you're gonna get that, right? You keeping the commandments, you know, you bringing it to your mother, father, whoever, and they act like they're interested. They act like they're interested, but deep down they really don't care. You know, they don't care, right? They acting like they're interested, but they don't care. And as you're reading the precepts to them, they start glitching. You know, start to irritate you. And in your mind, you like, man, you know, you act like you really want to. They don't care, man. Right? Read on, and when we do sacrifice unto him, since the days of Hesar Don, king of Assur, which brought us up hither, but Zerubbabel and Jeshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our God, but we ourselves together will build unto the Lord God of Israel, as King Cyrus the king of Persia hath commanded us. So as you see them getting irritated, you realize that, you know, they may not, that's it's up to the Most High if they want to bring them in as truth or not. And as they see you keeping the commandments, as you see them, you know, getting irritated and they not really bearing witness to the scriptures. And I speak on this, you know, this was an experience. You realize, like, you know, they have nothing to do with this bill, man. And we got to continue to move on. Verse 4, then the people, this the point, then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building. So, like another brother told me, you know, they see you, you know, building, you know, on that rock, man. You doing the work, not being slothful in business. And, you know, his mother, um, you know what I'm saying, had some pork, had pork. It could be anything, but had pork in a macaroni and cheese and gave it to him in the dark, just so he won't see what it was. But all praise to the Most High. He said he was looking. It was like, hey man, hold on. I told you I don't need to, you know. He said she didn't even say nothing. She just looked at him. Spirits on it, man. This is what these spirits gonna do. They're gonna try to weaken your hand as the heathen did our forefathers. And it's gonna happen every day. Every day. Right? Verse 5, and hire counselors against them to frustrate their purpose. Right? They're gonna frustrate our purpose. Our purpose is to serve Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and to seal the elect. Our purpose on this earth is to serve the Most High God. And they're gonna frustrate us daily. It's not gonna stop. I yield with that.
No, I got two precepts, right? This is Matthew chapter 10, in verse number 34, right? This is Yahushua speaking. He said, "Think not that I am come to send peace on earth. I came not to send peace, but a sword. For I am come to set a man at variance against his father, and the daughter against her mother, and the daughter-in-law against her daughter-in-law." It's like, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So you got to really ask yourself, are you okay with that? Are you okay with your mother completely disowning you because you into that Israelite stuff? Or you into that commandment keep? You don't want to come to the Christmas parties no more. So your cousins don't text you. You know what I'm saying? Your best friend you grew up with, they not dealing with you no more. Are you gonna allow that to cause you to err from the faith? Right? Because Yahweh literally said straight up, I didn't come to send peace. I didn't come for you to do the prayer circle around the ham at the Christmas party. That's not how this go. You're gonna be the only one in your family who wearing the fringes. People gonna be acting, what's that on the bottom of your shirt? They cracking jokes. You know, they wondering why you standing on the corner screaming all the time every Saturday and Friday. Are you gonna be okay with that? Right? And I'm gonna continue reading on. Matthew chapter 10 and verse 37. He that loveth father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. And he that loveth son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Hey, your kids don't even come before the Most High. You know, your pregnant rib don't come before the Most High. None of that, right? Because I mean, the same power that gave it to you got the power to take it away from you, right? And then I want this last precept. It's in 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 14. Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship hath righteous with unrighteousness? And what communion hath light with darkness? Right? So you shouldn't even desire, once you come into the truth, once you learn that you're an Israelite, once you learn that the curses in Deuteronomy 28, they fit your people. You know, you might be the tribe of Issachar, the tribe of Ephraim, the tribe of Judah. Once you find out these things, you shouldn't even want to associate with people who still want to be whatever they are in the world. You know, you gotta be able to stand on your own 10, regardless of who with you and who not. You gotta be willing to lose best friends. You gotta be willing to lose people that was close to you if it means they stand close to the Most High. But I yield with that.
I got a precept. 1 Timothy 6 and verse 19. This is 1 Timothy chapter 6 and verse number 19. It says, laying up in store for themselves a good foundation against the time to come, that they may lay hold on eternal life. Right? So, building this strong foundation, it's not just for any reason, right? A lot of people say they want to do this during Jacob's trouble. You got men that say they're gonna be assassins during Jacob's trouble, they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Well, I mean, if you don't got a good foundation, you're not gonna do nothing, against the time to come. Are you gonna get destroyed out there? Are you gonna utterly perish? You might die by famine. You might die before Jacob's trouble even kick off. Right? Race wars. Right? You might die in a car accident. Right? You're not gonna make it, right? If you don't got a good foundation. Right? The elect, they're gonna have a great foundation that's gonna allow them to lay hold on eternal life to help them get to the kingdom, right? Because they're not gonna look to the left, they're not gonna look to the right. They're just gonna be looking straight towards their destination, right? With that foundation underneath them, keeping them pushing, keeping them walking. Right? Let me go to the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, and verse number 25. It's Proverbs, chapter 10, and verse 25. As the whirlwind passeth, so is the wicked no more. But the righteous is an everlasting foundation. Right? So just the same way like a will go through, or a hurricane to go through and just knock everything over. Hey, that's how the wicked is, right? They get completely just blown away by the wind. They get destroyed, right? They won't be there no more. Just like a house, right? A house that built up on a strong foundation in Florida, right? In Florida, California, wherever these hurricanes happen, Taiwan, all these different places. Hey, that's how the wicked is, right? But the righteous is an everlasting foundation, meaning they're gonna be standing strong. But they're gonna be able to endure all the tornadoes, the hurricanes, the earthquakes, the damn tsunamis, right? They're gonna be able to endure all of that because they have an everlasting foundation, right? But you got it. Whoever want to
How you
get
go?
one.
I'm gonna get this precept in the book of Ecclesiastes. Give me 1 second. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 4, and verse number 9. Right? It says, "Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor. For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow. But woe to him that is alone when he falleth, for he have not another to help him up." Right? So we got to get around like-minded people. Like the other two brothers I'm on this call with right now, we like-minded. We both want this kingdom more than anything. You know, we could be doing anything. We could be playing Call of Duty, playing Warzone right now. We could be laid up with our rib. We could be out, you know what I'm saying, taking a cruise on the town. We could be doing a lot of different things, right? But we came together to do this labor because we know we got a good reward for it, right? I'm going to read this again. It's Ecclesiastes chapter 4 and verse 9. Two are better than one because they have a good reward for their labor, right? I mean, consider Yahweh Shah, right? This is the greatest man to ever walk on the planet. He didn't even walk alone. So how much more do we need other people around us? You know, you're not going to be in the spirit all the time. I mean, hey, we still living in this captivity. We still got bills, rent coming up. Hey, the first is right around the corner. You know, brothers got all these different things that they got to worry about. You're not gonna always to be able to remember. Oh yeah, that's that precept. I can't be hasty in a time of my temptation. Hey, sometimes you're gonna be thinking, man, why this got to happen to me? And it's on other brothers around you to be like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Remember what this precept said. Remember what Paul said about this. Remember what Yahweh Shah said about that. Right. So it's very important that you labor on other people. I mean, think we talking about building a good foundation. Do you think it would be easier to build a house with one people or one person or with 3 people or with 5 people? Right. But you got to be like-minded. You can't have one brother want to build a mansion and the next brother just want to build a regular townhouse. That's not going to work. That's going back into being unequally yoked, right? So when you building, you got to be around other people. You can't build by yourself because even Yahweh Shah didn't do that. David didn't try to build by himself. You know what I'm saying? None of these men and women in the scriptures thought, hey, forget everybody else. I'm just going to go off on my own. I don't need nobody. That's not the mind that you got to have. And it's true. You got to understand that you need everybody. You need the man to your left as much as the man to your right. And I got one more precept that I just thought of. Trying to get the book of Galatians. Right. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse number 5, or verse 2. It says, "Bear ye one another's burdens, and so fulfill the law of Hamashiach." Right. So everybody that's around you, you're responsible for bearing your brother's burden when he feeling low. You know what I'm saying? He might be going through it with his rib. His sins might be weighing him down. He might have problems with his kids disrespectful, his wife talking back. Hey, it's on you to not make it harder on that brother than he already got. That's why 2 is better than 1. Because if one person by himself, hey, you can't do nothing to defend yourself when you get low, when you get weary. But I yield with that.
Yeah, Khan, I got a precept, Sirach 37 and verse 12. It says, but be continually with a godly man, whom thou knowest to keep the commandments of the Lord, whose mind is according to thy mind, and will sorrow with thee if thou shalt miscarry. So, like the brother was going, and you can't do this alone, right? You can't build alone. You even got the richest man say, hey, if you in the room with a whole bunch of millionaires, what would you learn? You're going to learn how to be a millionaire if you're around a room full of millionaires.
Exactly.
If not, then you're not a wise man. You're not a wise man. Because if you're around a brother that's keeping the commandments, around a group of brothers that's keeping the commandments, and you're not learning anything, you're not seeing how they move, you're not seeing like they hands gestures or how everything. You see that they not just utter everything out of their mind. They just speak all type of God out of their mouth. You're not seeing that, then you're not a wise man. Because a millionaire is gonna learn how to a millionaire that wants to be a millionaire gonna be around millionaires, right? You even got Kobe Bryant saying, um, right? I'm gonna bring it out. You even got Kobe Bryant saying, "I'm not trying to be around a dude that's slothful."
Right.
He said, "I'm not trying to be, because I'm gonna be slothful. I'm gonna be lazy, man. I have no point of being around you." So in this truth, are you trying to, building on your Howard Shad, that righteous foundation, you have to be around brothers that's keeping the commandments and hitting up brothers that's like-minded like you when you feeling down. Right? I'm gonna bring that precept out, Sirach 22, and one since I brought it out. A slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, and everyone will hiss him out to his disgrace. And R.P. Kobe, he said this and don't even know that he said a precept. He said, he roughly paraphrased a quote like, "I'm not trying to be around no lazy man." The Lord said a slothful man is compared to a filthy stone, right? So you compare to a filthy stone to the Lord if you being slothful and not building on this foundation. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's a disgrace, man. I yield with that.
I got a preset. Luke chapter 14. Real quick. Right, this is Luke chapter 14, and we're gonna start at verse number 28. It says, "For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether you have sufficient to finish it?" Right, because you gotta go in with a game plan, right? You can't just go around just foolishly building and with no plan. That's like it's like just driving with no map, with no GPS. You're like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get to California." It's no signs to help you get there. Or you just drive it. You're not gonna make it. You're not gonna find out where you're going. You're just gonna be driving. And then that car gonna eventually run out of gas, it's gonna break down, and then you can't finish the trip. Right? It says, "Less happily, after he hath laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him." Right? Because if you don't finish building, right, all the people that you're gonna have people in the truth mocking you. They be like, "Hey, this brother," they gonna be mocking him like, "This brother fell out the truth." That's off, right? But hey, that's what's gonna happen. Right? You're gonna have people in the world, all the people that when you had your first love, you was rebuking your family, your friends, and they gonna be like, "You're not on that. I told you it was just a phase, bro." Right now you back. Now you back with us, bro. Let's go to the club. Right? And they gonna mock you, man. So you gotta you gotta have it in your mind to finish building, to finish the work. Right? It says, saying, "This man began to build and was not able to finish." Right? That's what they're gonna say, right? Hey, that's what people gonna say. That's what the Lord is saying. Right? This man, he started building, right? But now he wasn't able to finish. And that's scary right there. Right? Because if you can't finish building, hey, it's over with after that. Right? Let me go to First Chronicles, chapter 29. I think that's what I want. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna start at verse 1. Yeah, right. So you want to be able to finish, right? It's First Chronicles 29:1. It says, "Furthermore, David the king said unto all the congregation, Solomon my son, whom alone God hath chosen, is yet young and tender, and the work is great. For the palace is not for man, but for the Lord God." Right. So that's one thing you want to always remember when you build it. Right. While you always trying to increase in wisdom, knowledge, understanding. While you always trying to increase your patience and the fruits of the spirit, and your traits as a human, right, on this earth, right? And you want to know that everything that you're doing is for the Lord, right? You building for the Lord, not for yourself, right? Not for anybody else, not for the likeness, right? to be viewed by men, right? It's for the Lord. It says, "Now I have prepared all with all my might for the house of my God, the gold for things to be made of gold, and the silver for things of silver, and the brass for things of brass, the iron for things of iron, and wood for things of wood, onyx stones, and stones to be set, glistering stones, and of diverse colors, all manner of precious stones, and marble stones of abundance. Moreover, because I have set my affection to the house of my God, I have of my own proper good of gold and silver, which I have given to the house of God over and over, all that I have prepared for the holy house. Right? So you want to be making sure that when you build it, right, it's all holy, right? It's all set apart, right? But brothers got it.
I got a precept. I want to touch on how important it is to really have faith, right? Because at the end of the day, faith is definitely top three in the things when it comes to the truth, right? Faith is the reason why, like I said earlier, brothers is doing this video, doing the labor, doing the work for the Most High, instead of going to do our own pleasures, going to do what we want to do, right? It's Ephesians chapter 6 and verse number 16. It says, above all, taking the shield of faith, wherewith you shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked, right? So if brothers unfamiliar with what's going on in Ephesians 6, Paul was listing all of the things that he was listing the whole armor of God, right? He said, above all, use the shield of faith, right? Faith is going to protect you when your family is talking down on you. You know, faith is going to protect you when maybe your rib is not as accepting to the truth. Maybe she think it ain't nothing wrong with feeding your children pork. And you not giving into that, it all comes down to faith, right? And I want to get an account of Yahushua talking about having faith, right? It's Matthew chapter 6 in verse number 25. Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body, what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body than raiment? Right? It says, behold the fowls of the air, for they sow not, neither do they reap, nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feedeth them. Are ye not much better than they? Right? Aren't you better than the birds? I mean, you have intelligence. I was telling brothers, we was riding the camp like a month or two ago, and I was just looking around at all the cars, like how amazing it is that out of dirt, soil, and water, we have been able to build these mighty things that we've built, right? We've been given the power to have dominion over the animals and things like that, right? The animals get fed, you know, it's birds every morning that you're gonna hear singing, right? They don't know how to plant food. They can't go to Pick and Save or Kroger or Target to buy some. They don't do that. Yet they get fed and they have shelter. They able to build a nest, right? So aren't we much better than the birds? Continuing on. Which of you by taking thought can add 1 cubit into his stature? Right? And it's a rhetorical question. You don't have the power to add 6 inches to your height. You know, you don't have the power to make your arms longer. You don't have the power to do any of those types of things with your body, right? So if you don't have the power over it, why are you worrying about it? That's the whole point of what Yahushua is saying. I'm gonna finish it off. And why take ye thought for raiment? Consider the lilies of the field, how they grow, they toil not, neither do they spin. And yet I say unto you that even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Right? So the Most High, hey, he creates beautiful flowers every during the springtime. You know, he the trees, they blossom with leaves. They blossom with fruit, right? And they don't do anything but just receive the rain and use the sunlight to grow it. So how much better are we than the plants and the birds, right? You can't be, you got to have more faith than always worrying about, oh, you know what I'm saying? If I do this Israelite stuff, what if my family feels this certain type of way? What if my job see one of the videos and they fire me? You know, you can't have that little of faith to think about those things. You just got to keep going. But with that, I yield.
I got a precept going into the same thing, right? This is Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 35. Cast not away therefore your confidence, which hath recompense of reward, right? So your confidence is always supposed to be in the Lord, right? You can't cast that away, because as soon as you cast that confidence away, you're not gonna have faith, right? You're not gonna have any reason for you to continue to build and to grow in this truth, right? You're just gonna slow down and you're just gonna fall away, right? You gotta have confidence in the Lord, right? It says, "For ye have need patience, that after ye have done the will of God, ye might receive the promise. For yet a little while, and he that shall come will come and will not tarry." Right? Because the Lord, right? We already know the day of the Lord is coming, right? He's coming back any day. Right. So if you ain't on fire, right, in these last days, he might blow your candlestick out at any given moment. Before having to kill you and all that, right? With that sword, like the brother was going into in Matthew the 10th chapter. Right? It says, "Now the just shall live by faith. But if any man draw back, my soul shall have no pleasure in him." Right. So, you gotta live by faith, man. Right. You want to be that's the whole foundation, right? Is having the faith to keep the commandments. If you don't have the faith, you're not going to keep the commandments, right? If you just keeping commandments, right, mainly, right, you don't have faith, it's just not going to work. It's not going to correlate, right? So you got to have both, right? That's the whole foundation of this truth, right? Because if you don't, hey, you're going to draw back, right? You don't want to be of those that draw back. Those that draw back, they're in the world. They fall out the truth, or they start getting bugged out and they just making constant videos about why they eat pork, right? It says, "But we are not of them who draw back unto perdition, right? But of them that believe to the saving of the soul," right? And that's what you got to tell yourself through the Spirit every day that you wake up, right? You want to be praying, fast, and all that kind of stuff. You want to be like, "Hey, I'm not going to be of them that draw back unto the destruction," right? Hey, Lord willing, through the Spirit, right? I'm gonna make it, man. Lord willing, right? Because you gotta have faith. You gotta have confidence, believe that you can do it, right? Don't be, I ain't gonna never make the kingdom, man. I ain't gonna get there, man. Man. Hey, that's that, that wicked man that never gets up, you know. So don't be the man that draw back and unto destruction. But you got it, Shimon Wall, if you got a precept.
Yeah, I got a precept. That's right, man. You can't be weary in the faith, man. Let me get James. Get James chapter 2, verse James chapter 2. James chapter 2 and verse what else? Looking at James chapter 2 and verse 14. It says, "What doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he hath faith and have not works? Can faith save him?" So like going into, you gotta have both. You gotta have faith and works. Because like we always bring out, Noah, right? The Most High told him, "Look, I'm gonna have it to rain. I'm gonna flood the earth. I need you to build this ark, right?" And what Noah got right to business, right? Got right to business. It says, I'm gonna read that again. "What doeth it profit, my brethren, though a man say he have faith and have not works? Can faith save?" They're just like Jake in the world, man. These NBA players, right? They say they want to go to the NBA. They say they have faith, but they not in the gym. So what you expect of you in the truth? You saying you have faith, right? You have faith that Yahweh Shah will feed and he will preserve you in the day of affliction when all hell break loose. But you haven't done anything. You're not reading, right? You're not doing none of those things. Don't let somebody in the world work harder than you, right? Their faith is stronger. Their faith is stronger than them making it to the NBA than your faith in Yahweh Shah. And that's bad, man. You don't want it to be like that. Right? I got another precept, 2 Corinthians chapter 5 and verse 7. It reads, "For we walk by faith, not by sight. We are confident, I say, and willing rather to be absent from the body and to be present from the Lord, with the Lord, Salaki, and to be present with the Lord." So when you have faith and works, because both is profitable, you're present with the Lord. So when all hell break loose and Most High willing, we all in this type of spirit, right? we have confidence in the Lord, and all the things that we think about, and not having those sins that's weighing us down, we'll be preserved in those days, right? I yield with that.
I had a precept, but brothers don't got no point.
I got a precept after you.
Oh, you got it.
Oh, come on. I'm going to go to Romans, the 7th chapter. Right? You're going into being built upon, what are you built upon? Right? I'm going to go to Romans chapter 7. Right now, start at verse 14. Right? So I can give me a second. Right? Romans chapter 7, right in verse 14. It says, for we know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold unto sin. Right? To be sold unto something. Right, brothers, we go to the classic all the time. Right? Deuteronomy 28 and 68. Right? When it says that you shall be sold unto your enemies. To be sold unto something is to submittal unto something. Right? Or something's ownership over you. Most of us, when it comes down to what we choose to be owned by, we choose to be owned by carnal things. Right? The difference between the law and between us is that we are carnal. We want to please what? Our carnality or the flesh, right? But the law is spiritual, meaning that the law only wants to please the Most High. The law only wants to please the Most High, which is why every time we messed up, we had to do what? We had to give a sacrifice. And we had to give up something that we worked for or something that we loved because of a mistake that we made for the benefit of Israel. Well, it still works the same way, right? You have to sacrifice what it is that you want for the Most High, for the law, right? Because of the positions that we're in at this point, right? And that just goes into what we're really built upon, right? Because most of us, right, we sacrifice for work, right? We sacrifice for friends, right? You sacrifice for family, right? I guarantee you, I can't tell you how many people celebrated Christmas talking about, it's just Super Bowl Sunday. Right? Christmas damn Eve. Right? They just kind of put their head in while their family was in there opening presents. That's what they do now. They don't even celebrate Christmas on Christmas, right? But they started all the day before. Right? You can actually open up some of your presents the day before. Like kids ain't gonna just open one present. They're gonna open them all. Next thing you know, right? They bringing out the cookies, the warm milk, right, with the sugar around the rim, and you celebrating Christmas, right? And you celebrating Christmas. But the law is not about that. The law ain't about pleasing your family or pleasing your woman or your friends or that bitch of a boss that you have. Right? The law is about pleasing the Most High, man. That's what it's about. The law is about sacrificing something that you desire for the benefit of the nation of Israel, for your own benefit, to please the Most High is really what it's about, man. Right? It says, for that which I do, I allow not. Most of us are built upon hypocrisy. And let me not even say hypocrisy. We're built upon weakness, a weak foundation, right? Which is why I said, for that which I do, I allow not. Meaning that the things that we allow ourselves to do or that we commit ourselves unto aren't the things that we actually want to do. Have y'all ever met a crackhead or somebody that's hooked on drugs? What do they always say? I gotta stop. Or an alcoholic, they always want to stop, right? They don't allow the things that they do, but what do they still do anyway? Right? They still do them. It says, for what I would, that I do not. What we want to do is quit. We want to stop watching pornography, right? Stop smoking weed, man. Right? Stop getting high. Stop spending our bill money on the latest GTA update. What they call it now? They don't call it an update no more, but they call it not an add-on, but a package or something like that.
DLC.
Right, the DLC. We spend all our money on brothers ain't playing GTA no more. What they playing now? 2K?
Warzone.
Right, brothers spending all their money on the damn Warzone DLC. Right? But they don't want to do that. They want to pay their bills, right? They want to read. How many times have you ended up playing a damn game for 2 hours longer than you were supposed to, knowing damn well you were supposed to be doing something productive? But you ended up on a game for 2 hours over. Next thing you know, the sun coming up, your eyes burn a little bit, and you got to go to work, right? You didn't want to do that, but you did it anyway because you're carnal, because we're all about pleasing us. Well, we should be built upon the Spirit, right? That's our foundation. Our foundation needs to be built upon the Spirit. It says, for that which I do, I allow not. For what I would, that I do not. Even though you wanted to turn off the little dot, right, on the game system, or you didn't want to choose, what's the lustful stuff that brothers into now? Asian women?
The anime stuff.
Anime stuff. My God. But when I was in school, man, watching anime was lame. You was a loser if you watched anime. Now everybody and their mama is watching anime, and I think they call it hentai. Right? That's the anime pornography. Right? Everybody is watching hentai. Well, it says that for what I would, that I do not. You didn't actually want to spend all your time surfing. Brothers was in the world. You know how long, right? You kind of scroll on that, trying to find what you need, trying to find what to do. You ain't mean to spend that long doing it. I didn't want to, but what did you do, man? It's because you're carnal. You built upon carnality, right? It says, but what I hate, man, that I do. Which is why every single time you do something you knew you shouldn't have done, you feel disgusting afterwards. Right? You feel horrible afterwards, right? It says, if then I do that which I would not, meaning that if I do the thing that I don't want to do anyway, even though I don't want to do it, I'm in the group chat telling everybody in the camp about how much I hate this thing, right? I'm going out every Saturday and Friday nights. I'm doing videos telling everybody about how much they should hate this thing. However, if I turn around and do it, right? It says, I consent unto the law that it is good. The fact that you don't have power over the things you keep falling to is a sign as to why you should not be doing. You're an addict. You're an addict. You're a junkie, right? And you're built upon carnality. All right, brothers got it.
I got a preset. Because he says some about, pleasing ourselves, and that shows, at times, it shows that your faith is kind of wavering because, you're not pleasing the Most High, but you're pleasing yourself, right? This is Hebrews 11:6. It says, but without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. Right? So without faith, right, it's impossible to serve Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Right? And you got to come to the Lord and believe that he is, right? Because if you believe that he is, right, and you're not going to do those things that you hate like the brother was going into, right? Because you're going to know that they're off. You're going to know that they're wrong, right? So you're going to abstain from going after whatever it is that you're dealing with, right? And he's going to reward you for diligently seeking him in those times where you might be dealing with a spirit, right? Hey, but you constantly, instead of doing that thing that you hate doing, you do the thing that you're supposed to be doing, right? And he's going to reward you for that. Right? That was a quick point I just wanted to make. Brothers got it.
I'm looking for this precept I got. Right? Since we dealing with faith, right? Because faith is literally like, besides keeping the commandments, faith is just as important. Right? It's Romans chapter 10 and verse 17. It says, so then faith cometh by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So your faith might be low because you don't hear the word enough. You know what I'm saying? You play all of these different songs that ain't got nothing to do with the truth, and that's why you can memorize them. Anything that you do a lot, you gonna be that's like Yahweh literally said, where your heart is, that's where your treasure is, that's where your heart will be also. Right? So a way to build up your faith is to hear the word. You know, watch the videos, read the word out loud to yourself, go through the precepts, you know what I'm saying? Go through the breakdowns, watch the breakdowns 3 times if you didn't get it the first time, right? Because faith coming by hearing and hearing by the word of God. So if the Most High brought you into the truth, you owe it to him to always have righteous things in your ear, right? And I want to get this last precept. It's in Proverbs chapter 12. In verse number 24, it says, the hand of the diligent shall bear rule, but the slothful shall be under tribute, right? So, hey, the hand of the diligent, they gonna be the ones, the early bird get to worm. Brother done heard that expression in the world, in the truth. The early bird get it. If you want to lay in the bed and you just want to chill, no, I don't feel like reading. You know what I'm saying? That video that Naquan made is too long for me to watch. I'd rather play the game. Hey, it's somebody right now at the same time, they reading. They 10 chapters in. You know what I'm saying? They 4 prayers in and it ain't even 11 in the morning yet. You know, they didn't watch 2 different breakdowns today. They done taught they read all these different things, right? But that comes with faith, because we not doing this just because we think it's the cool thing to do. Hey, we the only ones that really think it's cool. The world look at us like we wasting our time. But we have the faith to know, hey, the Most High is gonna reward me for all this labor I'm putting in. But a slothful man, hey, he's not gonna get anything. He doesn't deserve to have anything. But I yield with that.
Kind of like dealing with that too. First Corinthians chapter 2, verse 5, it said that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men. Because what do men know? The Most High is how about you? He's all knowing. So
Hey,
why?
you kind of going in and out.
Me? You can hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why it's doing that. Can y'all hear me clear?
It's just kind of choppy.
Yeah. What precept you call it?
1 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 5. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 2. I don't know why it's choppy like that, but see that?
It's good now.
Okay, Con. Yeah, Con. Right? 1 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 5. It says that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men. So, I mean, what do man know? You know, like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh is all knowing. So like he knows what's best for you. It's to serve him. That's literally what's best for you. Have faith in him. Because he knows everything. He knows what's good for you. He knows what's bad for you. He knows what you need to build upon. He knows what you need to not build upon. He knows who you need to be around. Right? It says that your faith should not stand in the wisdom of men, but in the power of Yahweh. So our faith should always be on Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh, because he's all knowing. And due to these, the accounts we going into, like these, because it's a lot of brothers. I'm speaking for myself. When I came in this thing, all praise to the Most High. Like, I'm pretty sure every man would say, they wasn't a man. We wasn't. We was little boys in the world, man. Right? Like, you wasn't the best you should be. You was going off, right? You ain't handling the business as you should as a man, right? You was a grown boy. So when I came in this thing, I had to be a better man. I ain't even know who I was. Now I know who I am. All praise to the Most High. Now I have to build and do the work, be a better man, and that's from the law. Just like the brother was going out, bringing up, doing the things that I eat. But coming in this thing, you have to regard the things that you cannot do.
Again.
I don't know why it's doing that. Satan, bro. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Con. right? But like I was saying, you have to, get rid of the things that you hate to do, that your flesh wants you to do, right? And when you dive in this book, right, the Most High knows what's best for you, so it shouldn't stand in the wisdom of man, right? I yield with that though.
Brothers got anything else?
I can make another point. Right? I can make another point real fast. I got right kind of two precepts, right? I'm gonna go to Romans chapter 10, right? And I'm gonna start at verse 9, right? I'm I'll start at verse 9, right? It says, I'm gonna start at verse 8. Right? It says, but what saith it? Right? The word is nigh unto thee. Right? I kind of want to even start a little bit higher up, man. Right? Where I'm gonna start at Salakia. I'm gonna start at verse 6. Right? It says, but the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise, saying, say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into heaven, that is, to bring Christ down from above, or who shall ascend into the deep, that is, to bring Christ up again from the dead, right? And we're going to break this down. I kind of want to start a little higher with the time. Right? So I'm going to read it again. I'm going to start at verse 6. It says, but the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise, say not in thine heart, right? So we're going to start right there. We're going to kind of break that down, right? You're going to go into this, right? You're going to read. It's going to be talking about your heart, right? It's going to be talking about your mouth, right? Your mouth in this verse has absolutely nothing to do with the things that you say or the things that you speak. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. We're going to break it down. It says, but the righteousness is of faith speaketh on this wise, saying, so like it says, say not in thine heart, who shall ascend into heaven, that is, to bring Christ down from above, right? When it says to say it not in thine heart, that's talking about what? All actions always start where? In your mind, in your brain. That's where all actions always start. However, a church boy, right? So like it real fast, I also kind of want to go to, if you could go to Matthew, the 16th chapter real fast. Right, go to Matthew chapter 16. It's not 16, but 19 and start at verse 16. I'm gonna break down a couple precepts. Right, Matthew chapter 19, and I'm gonna start at verse 16.
19, okay.
Right.
19 and 16, you said?
And scroll it down a little bit. Right, I'm gonna kind of read it off your screen. Right. It says, it says, and behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing shall I do that I may inherit eternal life? And he said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He saith unto him, which? Yahweh said, Salakia, thou shalt not do, shall do no murder, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. The young man said unto him, all these things I have kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? Yahweh said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell all that thou hast, and give unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in the kingdom of heaven, and come and follow me. Right? The point behind everything that Yahweh had went into is that when it comes to Israel, right, for some reason, right, we think that keeping the commandments is absolutely everything that has to do with the truth. That just following the commandments and not following the commandments is absolutely everything that has to deal with this truth. Right? Yahweh was a hardcore brother, man. The brothers that he rode with were hardcore brothers. But the brother that came up to him was a choir boy. He was a church boy, right? You got some people that are meant to be civilians. You got some people that roll with Yahweh. Right? You got some people that's built to be tough, right? That's built to do the work. That's not built to sit back and to make their houses all glorious and pretty and put up pictures in every corner of the house, man. Some men are going to have to be willing to put everything on the line, to put absolutely everything on the line and risk losing everything so that they can build, man. Those are perfect men. Those are men that can roll with Yahushua. Those are men that don't just honor with their mouth. Those are men that just don't just say in their heart, but they confess with their mouth. Their mouth is, it's a saying in the world that they say actions speak louder than words. Right? Your mouth in Romans, the 10th chapter, has absolutely nothing to do with what you say, but it has everything to do with what you do. Right? Christ said, Yahushua said something real heavy. He said, with their words, they honor me, but in their works, they deny me. Right? Roughly paraphrasing. You have so many people that their lives are so much more important than building no truth, than building up the word. They're being a hardcore brother that actually rolls with Yahushua, man. Right? So, like, I'm still breaking up.
No, you good.
Right? But it says, right, he said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell all that thou hast and give unto the poor, and that thou have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. And when the young man heard these things, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possessions. That's a brother who only speaks in his heart. And that's where the law stops. That's where words stop. That's where actions stop. He doesn't confess them, but he does what? He just says them in his heart. So when we go back to Romans, the 10th chapter, and I'm going to start at verse 6 again, it says, but the righteousness which is of faith speaketh on this wise. Say not in thy heart, who shall ascend into heaven, that is to bring Christ down from above. And we're going to break down what that means. Or who shall descend into the deep, that is to bring Christ up again from the dead. But what saith it? The word is nigh thee, even in thy mouth and in thine heart. That is the word of faith which we preach. When it comes to bringing Christ up from the grave, right, where it says, so like I'm going to start it again from the top, where it says to bring Christ down from above, that's saying, how do we physically bring Christ down again? Because what did he say in John the 14th chapter? He said, yet in a little while, but I will come unto you. He says, because I live, you live also. The way that we bring Christ down from above is by operating in his spirit. It's by being the living spirit of Hamashiach Yahushua, man. That's how we bring Christ down from above. We bring the Most High down from heaven to earth when we operate in his spirit, right? It says, or who shall descend into the deep, that is to bring Christ again from the dead. Meaning that what? How do we raise Christ up from the dead? Through our actions, through what we do, through what we don't do. Everybody believes that, right, we're going to change the world just based off of what we do, right? You don't start a revolution based off of what you do. It's about what you don't do. It's about who you won't steal from, about who you won't lie to, about who you refuse to sleep with. That's how a change is actually started. It says that if thou, verse 9, confess with thy mouth the Lord Yahushua, and shalt believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. Well, how you confess that through your mouth, with your mouth, is how you act. It's by what you do, right? The way that you believe that in your heart, right, is how you submit yourself to these different things. Because some of us keep all the commandments of God, but we submit ourselves to our job, right? Some of us keep all the commandments of God, right? But you submit yourself unto your wife, or you only submit yourself unto your husband, right? You don't submit yourself unto Yahushua or unto the word, right? Which is why it says that if thou shalt confess with thy mouth that the Lord Yahushua, the Lord Yahweh Shah, and shall believe in thine heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved. The only way that we can save our people, like I need some water, right, is by how we treat each other. It's about the work that we go out and do, about the work that we refuse to do, right? When you refuse to work on the Passover. For some people, we was just talking about this, the Passover is optional. For some people, they just can't get the money for the Passover. But the Passover is not about keeping it in your backyard or keeping it in your house. The Passover is about a pilgrimage halfway across the earth to keep the commandments with your brothers and sisters. Keeping the Passover at your house, a lot of brothers and sisters don't know, is going off. Right? Keeping the Passover at home is not how it's supposed to be. But you're supposed to make that pilgrimage to somebody else. That's how we'll save our people, man. Right? Because the farthest, brothers will go all the way to Texas to keep Christmas with their grandmothers, with their in-laws. Right? But they won't go halfway across the states to keep the Passover with our people. I'm going to go to John, the 14th chapter, right? I'm going to read verse 19. It says, yet a little while, and the world seeth me no more. But ye see me, because I live, ye shall live also. Right? The way that we know Yahweh Shai live, the way I know Yahweh Shai lives is I look on the brothers that's on this screen right now. Right? The hardcore brothers that we got in our camp, man. Right? The hardcore brothers that we labor with. Right? The brothers in Sakari, right? The brothers at EKY, the brothers in HOS, or the brothers in Sons of Thunder. Right? The way that I know Yahweh Shai lives is because I see them living in him. Right? I mean, I see him living in them. And when I see Yahweh Shai living in them, I know that those brothers are alive. And I know that those brothers don't just confess it in their heart. Right? They don't just say it in their heart. But those brothers confess it, man. My brothers got it, though.
I ain't got none.
I don't have no precepts left.
Con, I don't got none. Got it.
God, y'all trying to. You got something else, Mike?
No, I know brothers got like an hour and a half.
Perfect. All right, come on. With that, give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahweh, Bashim Yahweh Shai. You know, brothers just constantly continue to endure, and, you know, build on that foundation that brothers was going into today. You know, make y'all call and election short. Shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom.